my biggest accomplishments that I recently just finished was running a marathon on all 7 continents. So a few weeks after my dad had passed away, I was looking through a book of world records. It took 3 or 4 years in the planning to be able to finally accomplish that goal. I did a marathon on all 7 continents. By the age of 15, don't get a high school education. And then when we went to Antarctica, we got to go on these Zodiacs, which are kind of these smaller boats, and go right up next to these humpback whales, and we got to go kayaking around seals and walk an Olympic aerial skier. And she told me to come out to their recruitment camp. So they were having like a summer camp for kids to come try aerials, and I went out and tried it. Hi, Jacob.
Hi. What is the most important part of training for a marathon or triathlon?
Probably the most important part about the training is just going out there and dedicating yourself to doing it, and also just eating right and making sure you're fueling your body with good foods, because you can do all the training behind it, but then if you're not eating healthy, your body's not going to feel as good as it would if you're eating healthy. And so when you're training or just in every day, you have to make sure you're getting all those fruits and vegetables and not going out to fast food restaurants and McDonald's and Burger King every day, because that's not going to fuel you to be able to go out and run a race or just to be able to function in every day. So I think just eating healthy is probably the most important thing.
This is Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi. How long do you train each day?
Well, it kind of depends all the time. So in the summertime, with my aerial skiing and running, I'm training anywhere from 4 to 8 hours in a day. So for aerial skiing in the summer, I train 5 days a week and have either half day or full days throughout those 5 days. And so then I have to sometimes get home from a long day of training for aerial.
To do a marathon.
My favorite continent, that's a tough one. I get that question a lot, and I think my favorite race as far as like the course was definitely the Peru, which was on the Inca Trail. And so we started at this like kind of little campsite that we camped at overnight, and then we ran over 3 mountain passes to get to the top of Machu Picchu, which are these ancient ruins in Peru on the top of this mountain basically. And so that race, since it went over 3 mountain passes and got up to 14,000 feet, it took me 9 hours, and that was the first race that I ever won overall female. So that was a super exciting race for me. But my favorite place that we went was probably Antarctica, and it seems kind of weird because you'd think it would just be plain old flat snow. But the best part was just being able to see all those cool animals like the penguins walking around and those huge whales, because when we were kayaking and in the little boats.
Next for you.
What was
Make your way through the crowd.
Yeah. Okay. What was your first race?
My first race for running was probably when I was like 4 years old. I think it was probably when I did my first 5K, 4 or 5 years old. And at that same time, I also did my first triathlon when I was 5, which was a kids triathlon in Canada.
You start to run in races.
I started running in races about that time when I was 5 years old, and I kind of just had been doing some running for fun before that, so I was basically grew up just running and playing outside, riding bikes. At this house we used to live at in Michigan, we had a circle drive, so my brothers and I just constantly ride our bikes around there, and we'd do fake little triathlons. We had this like little blow-up pool. We'd swim around the pool, jump out, ride our bikes around the loop, and then like run around the house or something. So we always did fun little stuff, and so I kind of grew up just basically doing our own mini little running and triathlon races, but started racing when I was 5.
Awesome. Just a couple other things before you go. Obviously, you present such a great role model for all of us here. Who are some of your role models that you look up to, whether it's in sports or in life in general?
I think probably one of my role models is Diana Naya. And if you guys don't know who that was the lady who swam from Cuba to Florida.
us?
I think the biggest thing is, like I said, just to follow your dreams and never let those people who say you can't do something or you're not good enough, don't let them stop you.
Boys and girls, what do you say to Winter? Thank you. Just some of the parents can relate. I don't think I ran my first race until, oh goodness, I think college or outside of college was the first age. And I just kind of did it on a whim. And honestly, I'm amazed at you guys every year when we do this. We've got kids in 3rd grade, sometimes even younger than that, trying the micro marathon or the 5K or the 8K. Very impressive. Any other last comments before we get outside? Nina?
I think it was very cool that the person that inspired her swam all the way from Florida to Cuba.
I know, it made me want to research. I've never heard. She said Diana Naya? Yeah. Who's familiar with her? Because I've never heard about her.
I've heard about her.
Wow. Okay, one last one. Was there one last one? Richard, last one. Good question. On her website, she showed something for training for the aerial skiing. I think most of it's in the winter, but there's some places where she goes on the ramps and she lands in a pool. And that's how she trains. If you look on her website, there's some of those pictures of her laying there.